Hello guys, welcome to today's video. So today we are going to do our pre-market analysis. Our pre-market analysis before trading the New York session, so that we may know what we are anticipating during the New York session. So I'm going to start with the 12 months time frame. The 12 months time frame, you can see that price is clearly bullish. You can see that price has been bullish for the last 1 year. The other thing is that we can see that this year's candle is a doji. You can see that price tried to trade to the highest highs but lacked sufficient liquidity. Right now we can see a huge rejection. We can see that that buyers are rejecting higher prices, so price has been pushing down the week on the yearly. When you go on the 6 months time frame, so on the yearly we can conclude that the price is bullish because we have a bullish doji. So on the 6 months time frame, you can see that we have the same thing. You can see that the current 6 months candle is bullish, but price is currently on an indecision level. So indecision. So on the 3 months time frame, you can see that the current quarter's candle is bearish, and the nearest area of liquidity that we are having is this week overlap. We can see that the previous quarter closed bullish, but we had a huge rejection. Price was rejecting higher prices. We had a huge rejection on the upside. So on the 3 months time frame, you can see that the 3 months time frame, the candle is bearish, and the purpose of the candle being bearish is that price cannot go on a straight line. So the current 3 months candle is doing the rebalancing phase. It's doing the rebalancing. So the 3 months candle is bearish, and it's doing rebalancing to the nearest area of liquidity, which is the candle overlap. So it's filling liquidities. As you know, liquidity is the relationship between buyers and sellers who is given and fixed prices. So we can see that buyers were in control of the market, and sellers were never given equal opportunity in the market. So they have to come and rebalance. They have to come and fill those inefficiencies so that can go up. So when you go on the monthly time frame, you can see that we had this hidden liquidity. Price came, mitigated 50% of it, and when we pay close attention to the current 1 month candle, you can see that it's bearish, right? The previous month's candle, the May candle, closed bearish, closed below the open, meaning sellers were in control of the market. And when you go to you can see that price came, rebalanced to this hidden liquidity. We had sellers rejecting lower prices. We had that huge rejection. You can see that previous month's candle is bearish. It was actually an indecision candle. Let us come and look for clear structures on there. So on the 1 month time frame, I can conclude on the 1 month time frame that we are bearish because the previous month's candle closed below the open, meaning sellers are in control of the market. So we have a bearish 1 month. So when you go to the weekly time frame, we can see that we had this support level. we had this huge support level here. So on this support level, we can see that the previous 2 weeks price did not close below. Price lacked sufficient liquidity to close below the full body candle, right? Price lacks sufficient liquidity to close below the full body candle. The current week's our current week's candle has broken below the support level, but we don't have a full body closure. Don't have a full body close. When you go to the daily, the nearest structures that we can see is that we can see that price bounced from this daily single area. After price bouncing from this daily single area, we can see that price came back to this candle liquidity. You can see that price tried to break. You can see that price tried to break this high for the first time. Let me put it here. You can see that this candle tried to break this the resistance level from the first time. It lacks sufficient liquidity to do so. The other candle confirmed that we are bullish by closing above, but it did not grab the liquidity. It never grabbed sufficient liquidity below this low so that we could get a buy. So as you can see that price came, reacted to that 50%, tried to go up, lacked sufficient liquidity to break this resistance level, lacked sufficient liquidity to break that resistance level. So price had to go back to collect sufficient liquidity below the low of this candle. After collecting sufficient liquidity below the low of this candle, let me delete this so that I can have a clean chart. So after collecting liquidity below this candle liquidity low, we can see that price came, tried to break this resistance level, but it lacks sufficient liquidity, meaning that this low must be taken out. So that's the daily time frame. So let's go to the 4 hours time frame. So on the 4 hours time frame, we can see that the nearest, the only free zone that we're having right now on the 4 hours time frame where price can come and bounce from, if you're looking for buy positions, it's this level. We can see the nature of breakout. It broke with one clear level. We can see that price came, tried to mitigate 50%, but lacked sufficient liquidity, meaning that these lows, they are going to be liquidity. These lows are going to be taken out, meaning that this low, there's a potential of this low to be taken out. Let me go back to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, as you can see, the candle of Friday tried to break this level but lacked sufficient liquidity to break that level. So price has to go back for sufficient liquidity below the swing point low of the daily. So let's go to the 4 hours time frame. So yesterday we managed to catch a trade here during the New York session. So as you can see, we had these free zones. We had this first free zone, we had this second free zone, and we had this other free zone right here. This was the last structure before the break of this structure right here. And as you can see that price tried to, the nature of breakout, it was a clear breakout with one time. Price tried to mitigate 50%. Price tried to mitigate 50% of this level, but it lacked sufficient liquidity to push up. So we can see that price confirmed that we are bearish by closing below. After closing below, we had to come back, gather sufficient liquidity on the 50% and do the rebalancing, and then we target the external range liquidity. Okay, but I usually do my execution during the New York kill zone, so I waited for reactions on that level. As you can see, let me go on the 1 hour time frame. So on the 1 hour time frame, you can see that price came, rebalanced that 50%. So anything above here, we were to look for bearish liquidations, so that we can look for an opportunity to go down, to sell gold. So as you can see, we had a price during London session. Price came, did the first breakout. After doing the first breakout, you can see that the price did the first bearish liquidation. After price doing the first bearish liquidation, we had this other structure. So we had price do the first liquidation. So this one was the second liquidation, and it was outside the New York kill zone. So we had that price do that. So let me go to on the 5 minutes time frame. So on the 5 minutes time frame, we had clear structures. As you can see, price came, mitigated 50% of this. Price came, mitigated 50% of we had that the first we had price shift. After shifting, we had price do the first liquidation, then did a breakout, then price came and activated this entry outside the kill zone, but we did not execute during that time. So the nearest structure that we are having during the kill zone is this one. Let me go to the 3 minutes time frame. So on the 3 minutes time frame, the structure that we are having outside our kill zone was this one right here. We had price print that structure, the niche of breakout. We can see that price did not react more than 2 times. It reacted the first time, then the second time it did a full body breakout. After doing a full body breakout, we can see that price tried to come to mitigate 50%, but lacked sufficient liquidity. Came closed below, but lacked sufficient liquidity to trade above, so it had to go down. Lacked sufficient liquidity to break this level with a full body candle, so price had to come back to rebalance, and then so that we can give the buyers equal opportunity in the market. So we had price come there, and our target was 7R of that structure. Had that 7R. So today I'm going to react the same way. Because I've concluded that we are bearish. The only level where I can come and look for buy positions is this free zone. I'm going to wait and see how price is going to react on this level, so that I can look for buy positions. Meanwhile, I'm going to focus on being bearish right now. Yeah, and the structures that I'm going to see during the kill zones, during the New York kill zone, is the one that I'm going to react with. So my reason of trading during the New York kill zone is because during the New York kill zone, it's either you trade the London reversal, or you trade the London continuation. So that's why I'm focusing on waiting for price during the New York session, so that I can react accordingly. So let me go on the 1 hour and see the nearest structures that we are having in the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we can see the nearest structure that we are having. We have this structure, and we can see price did a full body break. Price tried to come to mitigate 50%, but it did not reach there. So this liquidity, yeah, so this is an area that I'm going to be interested in. Yeah, it's a high probable single area, because we also have the liquidity. So our work is to react. We have this support level. You can see that we have multiple touches on this level, so that's a support level. If you are taking an assertive entry without waiting for confirmation, you can consider taking it from there. Yeah, and target 3R or 7R. 3R, close your partials. 7R, close your full TP. So that's 12 files. That's a 12 files setup when you take it from there. So these are the levels that I'm going to be waiting to react from, and so the 1 hour, that's a type 1 A plus setup. So during the kill zone, if price if price will be around this level, I'm going to react assertively. Yeah, and if price will not be at this level during the kill zone, I'm going to wait for confirmations. I'm going to react on confirmations. So without much ado, if you find this content insightful, you can consider subscribing to the channel. Yeah, and putting on the notification bell so that you can be getting this analysis as soon as I drop the videos. So if you find this content insightful, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. Adios.